Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for giving me an opportunity to come before a Democratic group and talk about this race for insurance commissioner. I have my wife, Deborah, with me, Deborah Anderson. I got Jared Cerner, who's also on my team, and Jared is in the back, and he's helping us run our ground game for Mississippi. First of all, let me just thank you all from the bottom of my heart for all that you were able to do in helping us get to this point by defeating the 32-year incumbent. Let me tell you, the people of Mississippi have been asking for a fair deal out of the Office of Insurance for a long time. Sometimes it takes a storm to come into our lives to show us areas where we are weak in one way or the other. And it took a storm called Katrina to show us that we were weak in a particular area of state government, and that was in the Department of Insurance. Looking at what has happened in Mississippi and how we are paying the third highest insurance rates in the nation for health and for property and casualty, it was time for a change in August. And now we look forward going into the November race. Let me tell you a little bit more about Gary Anderson and what I look forward to doing, so you all can help us spread this message around the state of Mississippi. Point number one, we want to make sure that we get a fair deal in the Office of Insurance and not a raw deal. And what does that mean? That means that we want to make sure that companies who are doing business in our state are doing it in a way that is a consumer-friendly manner in carrying out your business activity. No more that we've got insurance policies that are not plain English insurance policies. We want to make sure that what you say you're going to insure on the front side, then you don't exempt it on the back side. Okay? So this is a new day, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to flip, we're turning over a whole new script here. Reason why in June that I took the pledge that I would not take one single dollar from an insurance company or insurance company exec, because I wanted to be free from that political influence that is very present and prevalent today from our decision making. I want to make sure I'm making a decision that's good for the ratepayer. You know, in Mississippi, there's so many people in our state. Insurance costs, being able to buy insurance is out of reach for so many people. You know, a lot of people, health insurance, a lot of working people, health insurance is a trip to the emergency room because they can't afford it. We need to change that, ladies and gentlemen. We need to change that. We need to create a more friendly, consumer-friendly environment in Mississippi. We've got over a $10 billion book of business, and that means that $10 billion of your money is flying out of your back pocket into the insurance companies that do business in our state. I believe that's a good book of business. Last time I looked at the state's budget, the state's budget was $10 billion. So your money equals the state's budget that's going into insurance in our state. So I believe that, you know, for the companies who want to come here and have a consumer-friendly focus, then they'll have a great book of business. Now, the companies who don't want to be here, I want you to know Gary Anderson will not be the commissioner who is down on his hands and knees begging them to stay here, okay? If you don't want to be here in Mississippi, I'm not going to beg anyone to stay. What I'm going to do is recruit 5 or 6 other companies to come in and take your book of business away from you because you don't want to be here. I want to make sure we create a great competitive environment in our state so that we can make sure that people from all around the state. In certain areas of the state, there's only 2 or 3 carriers in certain rural areas of the state. I want to double or triple that. I want to make sure we do have that kind of insurance options available. Let me just tell you, let me speak to you just a little bit about the contrast in me and my new opponent. First of all, my new opponent is very similar to my old opponent. Okay. In fact, 2 days after the election, he went to the commissioner's office and spent 45 minutes. The next day, he spent 2 hours and a half. Okay. Now, I asked Chairman Wayne Dowdy to please give our, sitting insurance commissioner a call, just to talk to him about that. And we saw a response that he gave in the paper that, well, I'm going to treat the Democrats like the Democrats treated me, or something to that effect. But ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, we've had a Republican in the office all along. We just didn't know it. We didn't know, when you look at how the efforts were being wedded with the companies, bill after bill after bill. Jamie didn't tell you about all the bills that they were passing out of the House that were dying in the Senate. Okay? And so one of the main things that I want to see and deal with, I do want to see a good lieutenant governor that's going to help me do the things that I need to do in the insurance office. But I also, though, I want to make sure you all know that the guy that I'm running against right now, he stood in front of AARP, and Pam, let me get 2 more minutes, please. He stood in front of AARP and told AARP that, the seniors of our state need a break in their grocery bills, and this grocery tax would do it. And if I have an opportunity to vote for it, then I'm going to vote for it. 2 weeks later, ladies and gentlemen, 2 weeks later, when the bill did come up, he voted against the bill. Okay, this is the type of person that I'm running against. He chaired the Education Committee 4 years. And every year that the House would pass a fully funded educational bill, he made sure that when it got to his committee, he cut it back severely. Every year except an election year. Okay? That's the kind of person that we're talking about that I'm running against. And Lord knows, I'm just going to have to tell you, he's touted himself as being the businessman in this race, but his personal business affairs is horrible. Okay? I won't go any further than that. But I'm just telling you, you please help us communicate a message around the state of Mississippi that it is time for a change. We don't need to elect Dale Jr. We need to elect Gary Anderson as your next insurance commissioner for the state of Mississippi. Thank you all.